And with that, we will begin. Okay, so I'm just a little different of a format. I'm going to just do a little presentation. Got some really good feedback from this from last month, so I thought I would try it again. So it is that time of year. Like I said, we are not, totally dismissing the class of 2022 or 2023. There's still some great information there, but we kind of want to look forward to the class of 2024 and what they want in their first position. So I just put together some tactics to help you approach the new class within a purposeful strategy. Okay. There we go. So why is it important? Why is it important that we think of the class of 2024 as different or unique? Um, it's hard to make yourself stand out with this new class because they're getting so many offers. They're in high demand. They're getting, from the time they graduate, anywhere between 50 and 100 recruiting offers right off the bat. So it's important that you focus on what makes them different so that you can make sure that you're standing out amongst all of this communication. When you can kind of focus on why you as an organization or the opportunity that you're presenting are a good fit for the physician instead of, emphasizing why the physician is a good fit for you, that can really, really make you stand out. So just to go over just the points on the slide, these guys are in high demand. They're receiving offers left and right. We're finding that it is very important to, again, emphasize on why what you have and who you are will fit into their life rather than why they meet your qualifications and why they check your boxes. Um, these physicians' priorities are changing every single year, so it's important that we learn why those priorities are changing and what we can do and what we can say to attract the best talent and tailor your message to what's really important for them. Okay. So here's what we think you should know. Just a couple of things. Identifying trends in the world that are directly affecting your candidates is very helpful, and you need to know their priorities. Just a few issues, again, we have just learned, and one of the things I love about the profile database is, we're constantly interviewing physicians. Every day we're talking to these classes and learning more about them. So not only are we updating the database with that information, but we are analyzing it. We're comparing the trends. We're seeing what's different from when we talked to the class of 2022 versus the 2023. And we're really trying to make a push and an effort to give you, the recruiter and the end user of the database, that information so that you can use it meaningfully. So just a couple of points that we have noticed that are changing and are a little different from 2023. It's more expensive to move today. We all know inflation is on the rise, cost of living has significantly increased, and physicians are not looking to move. So as far as that relates to the profile database, you want to make sure you're using your geographic preference filter when you're searching, or as for who to contact, so that you make sure that you're only speaking to people that want to be, where your opportunity is presented. We do have tie search and different things that may bring in or in the past could have piqued interest within candidates, even if they weren't there, they may be interested in heading back to their home state or heading back, to where their alma mater is. But nowadays, it's more so they're very resistant to moving. No one's, looking to make that big cross country jaunt as in the past. So make sure, again, when you're in the database, you are using those geo preferences and you are making sure you're targeting physicians that want to be where your opportunity is. Students are going to have to start repaying their loans. Now, I prepared this webinar, I think a day or two ago, and already at this time, I'm just reading this morning that this may be changing. The student loan forbearance element of the CARES Act was set to expire at the end of this month. I'm reading now that might not quite be true. It may be deferred for a little longer. But at the end of the day, the student loans are going to they're going to come due. We're going to all have to start repaying them. Those of us that have them. So just keep that in mind in our interviewers or in our interviewing. We are seeing that is kind of one of the number one things that these physicians are talking about. So when you are communicating with them, make sure you are emphasizing any loan repayment and any loan forgiveness perks that your opportunities have to offer, because it is very important to them. There's nursing status. There is and continues to be a nursing shortage since COVID began. And it isn't predicted to end anytime soon through our analysis. So graduating physicians, they really want to know how they're going to be supported. They want to know a lot about the facilities and the practices that they may potentially be entering into, and that they're not going to be worked and not going to be overstressed because of any shortages or, anything going on because of the current climate in healthcare. So when you are talking to them, you just want to make sure that you're emphasizing how how the opportunity is going to actually benefit their life and how they would be supported if they do decide to take on your opportunity. Okay. Just a couple of other things that we've noticed. Again, we would like to use the information that we're seeing amongst the different classes and how it's changing with the graduates that we are interviewing lately for the class of 2024. The physicians are more interested in working in academic settings than we found in the past. So just something to keep in mind as you are picking and choosing opportunities that you would like to potentially present. There is a lot more interest in working in academic settings. Fewer physicians are interested in working in single specialty groups. So there is going to be a lot of interest in hospitalist positions and multi-specialty practices. So again, just something for you to keep in mind as you are thinking about what opportunities you're going to present. Work-life balance is as important as ever. I can't think of a time where that wasn't ever important, but make sure again that you are just letting these physicians know how this opportunity is going to benefit them, benefit their family. And again, one of the great things about profiles is that you do have that access to their personal information, what their priorities are, why these particular preferences and priorities are important to them. You do get their spouse information, if they have kids, what their hobbies are. So you really have a good opportunity using this database and really connecting with these doctors and really making sure that your communications are reflecting what they actually want, and they don't just feel like they're, being picked and targeted in a group of candidates, hoping that the spotlight hits them. You can really turn it around and really focus on them. And then most graduating physicians are looking for a full-time position. So just again, to keep in mind doing your recruiting, they're not looking for those part-time or local positions as much anymore. The focus now really is on full-time positions. All right. And then just a couple of best practices, just compiled a couple of tips and tricks for you to get the most out of the profiles database. Rerun searches often, make sure you're gathering the newly added and newly interviewed physicians. So again, another great thing about the profiles database, right there on your dashboard, as soon as you log in, you get a wonderful list of all the new physicians that have been added since the last time you logged in. So that's great, especially if you are even working still with the class of 2023. We're looking at the class of 2023 and looking at the class of 2024. We are daily updating new profiles into the database. So you definitely want to make sure you're checking out who those new physicians are and making sure they are a part of your, your communications groups and your downloaded list and phone list and email list and things like that. Likewise, filtering for the newly added in your recruitment database. So when you're in that physician search screen and you're working through your filters, we do have that filter for newly added in, where you can filter for only physicians or only profiles that have been added within the last 7, 30, 60, or 90 days. So make sure you're using that so that you can go right in, filter out, and only get the newly added physicians. So again, that you're including them in your marketing and you're making sure you're not missing anybody that's being added into the database. Use your wonderful search criteria to create a precise audience. So we have those filters on the physician search for position type preferences, practice type preferences, and community size filters. So make sure you're entering those and making them match your opportunity. And the idea here is, not so much, what do they say? Not so much quantity, but quality. You want to make sure you're hitting people that will or are more likely to be interested in the specifics of your opportunity, and then going in and using that profile information and that personal information that you get about them when you are speaking with them. And finally, something new that we've been kind of surveying and throwing out there with the physicians, don't be afraid to ask for referrals. Ask the physician to pass on your opportunity. If it doesn't fit them, see if they know someone else. We're finding now, this new class, they're more than willing to help each other out, filter off information to their colleagues, share things on social media. So that's kind of a newer trend that we're seeing with this newer class. Don't be scared to ask if they know anybody, or, if it's not for them, to pass on your information. And of course, along with that, always thank them and always be grateful for, anything that they can do or any information that they can pass on or help you with, even if they're not a fit for your opportunity. Because that builds rapport, that makes you memorable, and that makes you, more likely to be seen as a resource that they can come to, even if not now, that's somebody they can consider for the future. Okay, so again, just sharing some of our analysis. Profiles, we're trying to build ourselves up again, not just to be a database where we're throwing information in there and at you, but really trying to help you foster your relationship with the physicians and really enhance your recruiting techniques and your communications with the physicians that you're finding in our database. Okay, so if you haven't figured it out now, 2024 is available. We've listened to a lot of the feedback and trying to get a jump on the newer classes and get in touch with them earlier. So they're in there, they're ready to be contacted. I would want to be the first one to contact them. I would want to be in that early set. So be the first one to download them, get your communications out to them, introduce yourself early, pass out your materials, highlight yourself as a partner, because, younger class, we are struggling. They're going through a different time in health, not just in healthcare, but in life too. So it's really important that you market yourself as a partner and a resource, and not just, as an advertiser, I would say. Okay. So if there is any interest in 2024, any questions about counts, or just anything that you would like to know, feel free to reach out to me, your account manager. You also have your dedicated sales reps as resources, and just let us know how we can help. Right. So I'm just going to stop sharing right now. If there are any questions, again, I'll hang out for a little while. If you want to type anything into the chat, there will be some follow-up information sent. But I am Andrea. I am your dedicated support and training rep for Profiles. So feel free to reach out to me at any time. I thoroughly enjoy speaking with people and interacting and communicating. So feel free to give me a call, send me an email. Let us know how we can help. We really want to be here for you, and we want to help you be successful. All right, I see some questions coming through. Where do you find the newly added candidates? So there are two different ways that you can find the newly added candidates. When you first log in on your dashboard, there is an area to your right. It'll say newly added since the last time you logged in. So that's when you first log in. And also when you are on the physician search page, that first filter at the top right, it will be new candidates added in the last, and it's like a little drop down, and you can hit 7, 30, 60, or 90 days. Eileen, I would be more than happy to send you a few screenshots just to let you know where that is. So I will follow up with you on that. Great question. All right. How important do you feel it is to include compensation info in a job posting? It's always been my rule of thumb to enter a range. I never I would never go with entering the exact salary because there's always going to be somebody that thinks it's too high, so they don't qualify, or thinks it's too low. So if you are mentioning salary information or compensation information, I always like to shoot for a range if you have to. But in our research, we find that it can sometimes be a turnoff. So I would personally avoid it. Just, in what in my experience. Competitive style compensation, things like that, to let them know that it is a good position, but you do far better mentioning benefits, mentioning, perks and benefits rather than salary. Just my personal, from what I've seen in doing email blasts and job postings, it can be touchy with compensation. What looks like a great salary to me may look like nothing to somebody else, but the job in turn could be a good position, and salary may not be the thing that will hook them or unhook them. So I would focus more on perks and benefits, loan repayment, and relocation assistance and things like that. I hope that helps, Joni. All right. Also, I'm just going to be hanging out here. So if you have any other questions or anything, feel free. Thanks for your insight. You're welcome, Joni, anytime. And any follow-ups you have, please let me know. And thank you, Bo. Always lovely to see you here. Thank you. I really appreciate your support. Thank you. Thank you too, Brenda. Wonderful to see you here. You're welcome, Deborah. Thank you so much for joining. What do we have info-wise on J1s for 24? Um, that is not 100% sure what you mean there, but I will follow up with you afterwards. Maybe I'll shoot you an email directly, Dennis, and get some clarification. Not sure exactly what you mean, but I'll check in with you after the session. Erica asks, does anyone have tips for how to address those jars to answer questions? Da, da, da. Questions that we may not be able to right now have a little leadership. Erica, not sure. Again, I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you're meaning. It looks like maybe you may be trying to address your team. I'm not sure, but I will follow up with you afterwards, just to make sure you didn't have anything specific. Arriving late. Madison, yes, unfortunately, the webinar is over. I apologize, but it was being recorded, so I will make sure that I get a recording over to you. The recordings are always on our website as well, so I'll make sure you get that information, and you can replay it. And also, if you have any specific questions, you're more than welcome to reach out. I'll shoot you an email directly. But yes, unfortunately, I'm sorry, it is late. It is over.